Suzanne? Suzanne? Let's see. Aha. Hello.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you as well. It's not detecting a camera on my computer, which is odd because it did last time. But looks like all is working pretty well besides that.
Yeah, well, your audio is really good.
Oh, fantastic. And I see you as well and hear you as well. Are you having a good holiday?
So far, it's frighteningly good. How
Yeah,
about
frighteningly. Is that just because of Halloween or because of another reason?
no? It actually it's pretty nice out here. You know, it's in the 70s, and we all like that temperature the best. So yeah. So what's going on in New Haven?
Well, it's probably not quite as beautiful in terms of the weather, but it's going to be a nice night. Excited to have fun with friends and dress up and that kind of thing. And C-Click Fix is great. No one's dressed up in the office though. It's a busy day. It's been a busy week, really. Uh,
I'm sure it has.
but we're all excited for Halloween candy next week, leftovers. So that's the highlight.
Yes, going by the Walgreens to
Yeah,
find the
right, right.
Halloween candy. Yeah, where's
Amazing.
that chocolate? Too much candy corn. Get rid of this corn crap. Um, hey, what are you dressing up as?
Oh yeah, a good question. I'm not quite sure. So, one option, the easiest option is to dress up all in black and to follow people around, and I'd be a shadow, their shadow, um, which is interesting. The second one is harder to explain, kind of, I guess, but I kind of want to be the market for Halloween.
The nugget?
The market.
The mortgage?
The market, as in like the economy, the market.
The market?
Because I guess it's kind of a joke. My sister is getting her PhD in organizational behavior at the School of Management, and she talks to a lot of these economists about the market, and they always sort of personify the market, and also they personify the economy as if they're real people. People say things like, well, the reason why the housing crisis happened is because of the market or because of the economy, and so I kind of wanted to play on how people personify these things that aren't real, that we have control over in a certain sense, um, and make it into a Halloween costume. But we'll see. How about you?
Well, that's quite a challenge that you're up for there. Did you happen to see reports of Janet Yellen's comments on Wednesday about, hmm, well, the general economy?
Right, right, right.
However, I'm sure your sister would, well, I think your sister would have some comments about that. Apparently, she got everybody's knickers in a twist with her comments about how inequality was creating havoc in the economy. Imagine that.
Right, right. It's like, no way.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. Never heard of that before, but yeah.
All right, we'll have to get rid of her. I'm sure they're planning on it. Um, I as if they couldn't figure that out. I mean, I really do have trouble understanding why they haven't figured out that poor people, when they have no money, can't spend anything.
Right, right, right. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure you have this issue. This is one of my main issues with the concept of the economist is, I guess, I feel like sometimes economists are coming up with conclusions that psychologists came up with 20 plus years ago, right? I mean, even the whole field of behavioral economics is essentially, in my mind, just psychology. because they say things like, I feel like this guy got a Nobel Prize recently for saying, wait, humans are biased. Humans have bias, and that's why they don't always, or like humans don't always make the rational decision. And I'm like, wait, I thought, didn't we already figure this out? I mean, I don't know. I feel like you'd appreciate that as someone who is learned in psychology.
Well, I think that's a really, well, that leads us off into a discussion for another time, but it's really quite interesting. The things that people are discovering that came from psychology quite a while ago, really.
Exactly. Well, anyway, so what's cool is that this looks like it's working out well, besides the fact that my camera isn't working at this point right now. What was something that you wanted to kind of play around with on the system?
Well, I was wondering if you had found that um, the icon on your screen that helps you adjust the bandwidth.
Oh, that's interesting. Let's check it out.
It's the one that looks like it's similar to the one that tells you what kind of bandwidth you've got on your phone. Kind of a series of increasing.
Like, is it called Control Room by any chance?
Oh, well, let's see. I wonder if it is. Let's see. Where's the? Oh, here we are. You are in a moderated. Okay. Well, it's. I don't.
And
But,
what? Just out of curiosity, why are you interested in the bandwidth?
because I don't really. I mean, there. It seems like our call's doing great when there's just the two of us, but how will it be when there are a lot of people on the call? I don't know how that affects the bandwidth, if it does at all.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I think overall we'll have probably 4 people on the call, correct?
Let's see.
4 or 5.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
I think that might be something. Well, unless you have a way of finding out what the bandwidth is through these apps, which is great, and I could also look up really quickly right now if we can find a way to find the bandwidth. It was working okay last time with your friend.
Aaron, yeah.
Yeah, Aaron, it was actually working pretty well there. Um, what did you think?
Oh, yeah, I thought it worked fine. And okay, I'm going to send you, I'm not sure actually how to do this when we're actually on the air. Um, I just took a picture of this thing.
Oh, perfect, great.
Let's see.
Probably maybe you can send it through the chat or you can email it to me.
Let's see here. I need to put this somewhere where it's accessible to me. Okay.
Or you can share your screen. That's another thing.
Let's see. Let's see. What is that? Oh, smileys. You know, I don't know if it takes stuff through chat.
Would you feel comfortable sharing your screen and then maybe you can show me through there?
It's possible. Although, remember last week, I found it cumbersome. I haven't figured out how to make that process more efficient. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's try this. I hope it's not. Well, it didn't take a picture of the goodies at the top. Okay. I'll send it to you later.
Sure. Oh, looks like there is a little picture. Well, there's a picture of me.
Is that all there is?
Right, right. I've seen that person before.
Plenty, but I'm trying to get this mess of stuff up here. There's 5 icons that are all familiar: a microphone, a camera, a phone, a gear, the gear icon, and then this broadband width adjuster that can be used if things are not going.
Oh, I see. Oh, I got you. I got you. Like an auto limit bandwidth, adjust your video quality to limit your bandwidth usage.
Yeah.
So if I shift this to the lowest, audio only, I don't see you anymore. If I,
Is
sh-
that
if I shift it to very low, let's see. It's making it very bad. Go to auto. Hello?
I'm here?
Yes, it makes it much better. So, yeah, so it looks like if you adjust the bandwidth, it pretty steadily reduces the quality of the of the video. I think you got very slow, and it wasn't matching your words. Actually, let me try it again. I'm going to put it to very low and talk.
Okay, I'm talking, and I imagine that you are either not hearing me or you're hearing an adjusted me that sounds almost unintelligible. Okay, done.
Can you talk again?
Okay, I can talk. Yeah, wow, I can talk again. All
Yeah.
right, okay. So, how much do you want me to talk?
That's perfect. I was just trying to get a sense of the differences in when you limit the bandwidth. It didn't feel like there was that much of a difference besides when I put it all the way to the bottom, which is when your video just cut out. But besides that, there wasn't that big of a difference. I mean, one possibility of testing this kind of four-person play is when we have our meeting November 4th, our meeting can be on this Google Hangout. And we can see what is it like to have four people on a call.
Right.
And
Um,
they'll also get Roberto some experience using and sort of being able to fiddle around with and see the platform.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. I sh I think maybe I'll email him and ask him if he's tried Google Hangout yet and if he has any questions, just to see if he's tried it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll do that. So, hey, I wanted to hear a little bit more about what you think you would be saying. Well, are you going to be the spokesperson for SeeClickFix, or is it somebody else's task to do that?
I think it could end up being anybody. I mean, it could be me. It could be someone else. I think all of us could be decently well versed to talk about SeeClickFix and to
Got it.
it's a small way. I mean, I think I'm a little bit newer, and so one could say that maybe someone else could be better. Uh, but I think we'll just see when it happens, and I think we could always have someone fill in, or I don't think it'll be a big deal on that end. Um, but yeah, in terms of what we talk about, I think that um, we could talk about SeeClickFix and our other partners beyond Albuquerque, what people are doing, different municipalities that we're in, different types of groups we're in. Like we're not just in municipalities, we're in districts as well, and counties and VIDs even. So we could talk a little bit more about, speak to the sort of expansive nature of SeeClickFix that we're in now over 220 municipalities um, and spreading widely. And there are various different ways that cities use us or different groups use us, whether that means we could talk about the issues. Some places really prioritize potholes and some really prioritize tree trimming. Uh, some are even using, in North Carolina, for example, some are even using SeeClickFix, like police departments are using SeeClickFix a lot to engage with their community, which I feel like is very topical. But I mean, there's a lot of different directions you go. I mean, I think I'd toss it to you. What do you think you would want us to talk about? That would be useful for a citizen to hear.
Boy, you're throwing it back in my court. All right. Well, I guess my main feeling is that it should be a very positive emphasis on building community and showing some nationwide examples of how that's. When I say nationwide, I don't know how many contracts you have now with, or even if you use contracts. Are you contracting with these organizations or metropolitan areas?
I'm not sure if we would use the vocabulary contracting, but yes, we. individual municipalities sign on and contract with us. Yeah.
So basically, you have an arrangement with organizations of some varying types all across the country, and has it reached the 200 mark?
Yeah. As I was saying before, we've hit over 220 groups.
Good. So, a couple hundred and rapidly growing. Plus, I thought the million issues fixed is something that'll stick in people's minds.
Oh, it's fantastic. I'm really excited about it as well. I think that, you know why? Because I think the fix is really interesting, um, as something to be a really powerful indicator of this movement. Because I think that the fix is more interesting to me, and I think to governments, than the report, than like the issue reported, right? Because it means that it's a tangible sign of collaboration between citizen and government. That's what it is, right? It's
There
a
you
tangible indication that two groups that in some cases could be disparate were brought together and made something real happen in their neighborhood or community city. And I think that's so cool.
I mean, it really is something that there are many other groups who have tried to do but failed. So, I mean, and that's not necessarily something I'd put in the presentation, but it's certainly something I've noticed. And I thought, wow, you're really in neighborhoods. You're not just talking about neighborhoods and the digital divide and all of this stuff, which is still important to have as a national discourse, but you're actually in there. And
Yeah.
that means a lot to me. The other thing I think, and I should remind myself that I need to focus on who the audience is. We really don't have one yet, but if we're focusing on a variety of people, it's useful to know that municipalities and other organizations are attracted to this also. Besides community building, it's an efficient addition to municipal management. And by that, I think I mean cost savings. And of course, anybody who's attached to a metropolitan area would like to hear that. They want to know, oh yeah, this isn't just something that's going to cost us a whole lot more money. It's something that actually will save us time and money because of how it facilitates the collaboration between metropolitan areas and citizens, residents.
So the real question, Suzanne, is why aren't you a spokesperson for SeeClickFix? Because that was amazing. That was an amazing summary of one of the big benefits that SeeClickFix provides municipalities, and something that I think is a little bit cloudy. That isn't immediate. I think a lot when we have a hard pitch in a way, because I think municipalities see us as potentially more work as opposed to short-term and especially long-term cost effectiveness for the municipality.
Yeah, although when we say long term, you know, I'm not sure how. I think different people have a different idea of what long term is. In Albuquerque, it seems to me that they achieved some pretty decent efficiency within a reasonable period of time. Every system that's implemented takes time to smooth out the wrinkles and develop the user base and so forth. But once it's going, I mean, it's just such an elegant yet simple system. So
I agree. That's why I said short term, but especially long term change. But yeah, I mean, I think that's great. I think that's great I think your sort of summary right here is sort of in some ways like the inspirational, holistic piece of SeeClickFix, right? About like real citizen and community engagement on the citizen and government level, that is facilitated by a cost-effective model for governments to take in citizen service requests.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I certainly, I'm very inspired by this, and I hope to see a lot more development as in the next year or two. And my hat's off, if I had one, to the guys and maybe gals too. I really don't know. I know Ben was instrumental at the outset, but I have no idea if there were women involved in the outset. But those people, I
But
get,
behind every good man is a great woman, right?
well,
So
yeah.
there we
And
go.
I think it would be the reverse someday. Behind every great woman, there's an
Exactly.
okay man.
Yeah. It's like a few decent men. Just kidding.
Yes.
No, that's great.
So I think I have an idea then of basically what you guys are going for in terms of what you're going to say, and so you probably some take some visuals out of the massive infographics that you kick around and share them with whoever's on this call. I think I want to pin down Roberto on November 5th, I think it is.
Hmm.
Um, I want to help get a better idea of what he thinks the city might be saying. Um, I'm not real clear yet what he's thinking would be important to say from the city's point of view, and maybe that's partly because we haven't really pinned down the audience for this.
Yeah, I think we
And
talked a little bit about, if I were to pull up the notes, a little bit about what the city would say. Let's see. Albuquerque. Let's check it out. So, from what we've had written down the notes is city staff gives a sort of intro to Albuquerque 311, what the government does and doesn't do, and what the citizen can do or can't do in relationship to CCLFix. So that's what we had thus far, but that could shift and change.
right, I don't know if you guys, I don't know what you see on your end in terms of monitoring the system, but you should probably be able. I mean, do you see like the volume of calls that come in through? I mean, through SeeClickFix?
Sorry, could you repeat that, Suzanne?
Do you see the volume of calls that come or reports that come in through SeeClickFix from Albuquerque?
Oh, do we see them or do we have the ability to?
Well, I'm trying to, I see in their rather crude looking monthly reports that they have a volume of calls and it seems to me that there's some of these that are could be made into decent visuals, especially a time lapse. I mean, a time over time, how many have been handled by SCF. But I don't know if that's something Roberto is planning on presenting or not, but it would be something in the audience that would, if I were in the audience, I'd be impressed by, in the first month we got one call. I know it was more than that, but, and last month we had, I don't know how many came through SeeClickFix, but a decent number.
Yeah, it would be great to see exactly that, an increase in service requests, and also maybe a graph that shows some kind of increase in or like decrease in the SLA of how long it's taken to fix the request, which is
Right.
goes back to the fixes.
Is
So
this, is this information that you have?
this is information that we could have, yes, or as in we do have, and I maybe Albuquerque has it. We've provided. I'm not sure if it's still in beta form or it's in full-fledged form. This new feature on SeeClickFix called Insight, which is doing exactly what you're talking about, which is giving visual, graphical data analysis of the different various service requests in a number of different ways, whether it means municipalities can check out and see exactly what you're saying, number of requests over the past 8 months, or it can be something like what's the number one service request that's delivered from citizens, like whether it's like potholes or tree trimming, and when do more potholes like post the winter months than in fall. So there's some pretty hefty analysis we can do there, and I think we can do that on our end. And I'm not sure if Albuquerque has the ability to do that internally yet.
I mean, I wonder if there. Do you see a way that C-Click-Fix could help Roberto if he's kind of,
Absolutely.
not, well, I really don't know what his capacity is. So I'm not sure whether it's easy for him to pull up this kind of thing or not. But
I think so.
if you had that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
well, you might offer it to him if it would be helpful. I don't want to make it sound like you're trying to uh, I don't know, propagandize him or
No, it's just useful information. What
yeah.
Suzanne, I love to pick your brain. What are the different kind of visual graphical stuff that you feel like would be ideal to show?
All right. Now you are the LG executive, are you not?
I am. Yeah.
All right. So can you answer your own question?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I have my own answers, and I guess since I feel like you know your audience the most. I thought maybe you had some suggestions to launch off of, but I mean, I think things like exactly what you're saying, like service requests increase over the past since Albuquerque has started with the app is really useful. I think um, the time it's taken for these requests to be fixed can be really interesting too. And in some ways that might be enough. I mean, we could go into the territory, this is just pure interesting information to see what kinds of service requests that people are requesting.
Probably people would, I mean, I would find that interesting, although I'm not sure I mean, as a person in the audience, I don't know what I would do with it, but it would be interesting, and I would be looking to see, well, what's the biggie here?
Yeah.
I think people in the audience most all of them would do that.
I think maybe one example of that kind of thing would be interesting because it would show them how powerful the tool is. It would show that this tool has power beyond just the one-way interaction of here's where the request is, fix it. It's more like this actually has potential longitudinal change. We can now actually graphically and graphically indicate where are the problem areas over time. So I think that'd be useful. I'd be hesitant to put too much of that because I would want I would want them to be left with the feeling of this tool has power that can change our community not only in the short term but also in the long term. But then I think I wouldn't want the conversation to be too much about steered towards all the different kind of nitty-gritty details of what does it mean that potholes are our biggest issue, or things like that.
Right.
So just sort of leaving them with a feel of wow, this is more than just like the two-way right now. This is a tool that will change our community and give us a better understanding of our community over time.
D'accord. Question for you. Now, this tool that's in beta, this is a management tool, not a user tool. Is that right?
It's a management tool, yes.
Right, good. What do you think about showing? Oh, okay, question. And this again is more because I'm interested than something that I think would be presentable. Do you have a heat map of where the users are for a municipal area like Albuquerque?
That's a really interesting question. I do not think that we have a heat map of Albuquerque specifically. I think it's something that we can create.
Probably.
I've talked to my colleagues before because when we hit 1 million fixes, we were considering doing some kind of interesting like landing page on our website where we had a heat map of not the users but the fixes or the reports over time. And I think we've done that before. We have a video of that somewhere. So I do believe that capability might be on the dock.
Got it. Yep. Well, so let's see. I'm still casting about for a user, and and I haven't heard back from Roberto. Probably not high on his uh, priority list, but I mean, I don't have access to the users, so it's really difficult for me to just find one that has had significant experience, positive experience with the system. Although if Roberto can find the list and sort of, I guess, if you, well, I think what I suggested was, can you send out a blast, and then from those who respond, shoot me some people I can talk to see if they want to be on the panel, unless he wants to do it. And I suspect that wouldn't be something they'd want to do necessarily, although they might feel that they had to do it, because again, I'm not an employee of the city, so that might be a consideration of theirs. I don't know.
Right. I think that's a good suggestion. I think another possibility is, I can ping Roberto on the same email that you sent and say, another possibility is that if you have any users in mind, send their usernames our way, and we can reach out to them as SeekClickFix. That's
Good.
a possibility. Because,
Yeah,
yeah, continue.
it's good, because I think that really is something I've got to do fairly shortly in order to make this whole thing happen. And I'm ready to go. I just have no way of moving forward with that. Let's see. I've sent a request to my city councilor to get some information about our neighborhood associations, because I never did hear back from either Delana at the neighborhood association or her boss, Stephanie something Winkle, whatever her name was. And they keep tight control over that list because it has so many potential political uses, and they really don't want it used that way, and I understand that. In this case, I don't think we represent a political, we're not trying to push some candidate or issue. We're just community buildings, so I think it's safe, but I can see why they maintain their tight control. And my city councilor does have access to that list, so I'm going to try to enlist his, I know him, and I'm going to try to enlist his help getting the neighborhood association contacts so we can invite them. I've contacted my own neighborhood association, and so far I've gotten an email from the neighborhood association president. I'm new in this neighborhood association, so I haven't met with them before. I should probably go back to my older neighborhood association. I was on the board, so I can. It's a little easier going over there. But meanwhile, I'm trying to get to the neighborhood associations to invite them to become part of the audience for this, so they understand what it can do in a neighborhood.
Cool. Sounds great.
I think that we. Is there anything else that we need to accomplish in our call today? It's delightful talking to you, but I'm sure you got lots more stuff to do.
Right. Yeah, I think that this is good. I think the Google Hangout system seems to be working well. I think the next thing that I'll do is reach out to Roberto through your email and say another, and give that suggestion. Another thing is that we'll pin down that date of November 5th for our next meeting, which may or may not have already been scheduled. Let me just check my calendar, and it's there. So I'll probably send an email Monday saying something along the lines of looking forward to our meeting Wednesday. Good luck on election day. Have fun. Something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's going to be quite a day. And between now and then, we'll be kind of frenetic over here, as I'm sure it is in your area, too.
Definitely.
The amount of money that's gone in to affecting just state house races
It's
from
it's
out of state is just unbelievable. It wouldn't have been at all the case 5 years ago, and now we're seeing just I
It's,
mean, Mexico is a very poor state, so when we see millions of dollars coming in for these state races, it's really overwhelming.
same thing. Yep. Yep. Exactly.
All right, well, hey, have a good weekend. I'll think of you either as the shadow or the
Or the
market.
market. Exactly. Maybe they're the same thing. Who knows? Great talking to you, Suzanne.
Thank you. You take care now.
Bye.
Bye.